It's only 4 missions. How bad can it be?
First time.
Yeah, I'm never gonna ask this question again. Hi, I'm Amon, and it might sound like an easy feat to beat 4 missions using workers only, and especially compared to some of the other campaigns out there that featured freaking Naga Royal Guards. Oh, but turns out you don't need Royal Guards to have actual nightmares. Cue up the Soviet music. The rules are as simple as they can be. I can only build workers, and any unit that isn't one is gonna get sent into the meat grinder right away. And of course, as always, I played on the hardest difficulty. Now, the rules might be simple, but the missions are gonna be anything but.
I won't be late. Analyzing schematics. Studying blueprints.
The mission starts with a worker repairing this tower here, but if you've seen my no production video, you know what's going to happen next. I saved the game and then I reloaded it, which for whatever reason makes the worker go into overdrive. So I repaired the tower in 3 seconds. But now he's tired and he wants to go for a walk. And that walk put him past a bunch of demons and zombies. But he is small and sneaky, so he went around them. Then he came to a couple of demons who didn't let him go past without paying a toll in blood. So he paid it and he ended up with 3 health. But as we all know, time heals all wounds. So for the next couple of minutes, this guy regenerated his health. Thankfully, I did this challenge on stream. And during that time, I've had people entertain me, so these couple of minutes didn't feel like 6 months. Also, during that time, they gave this brave worker a name. Elvis the Elven Worker. And after Elvis reached full health, he walked past a couple of poachers, and this was the end of his troll for now. Then he decided to go on a boat ride. So he took a boat to the middle island. There he played Ring Around a Rosie with a little cute dog, and he started repairing another tower. The same principle applies. Repair, save, and then load. Then he entered the boat and went to the last island, the Gnoll Republic. These gnolls are evil beasts that want to kill poor Elvis, but he managed to outrun them. The president of this Gnoll Republic is a gnoll who is level 11, which is even higher than freaking Archimond himself. And his name is Snarlmane. My poor worker can't really fight El Presidente here, but he can actually cut down some trees to go around him. I would say they came from behind, but there is no they here. It's just him.
They came from behind!
And after I went around, I repaired the tower in record time, and that was it. Turns out this isn't a workers only mission, it's a worker only mission.
Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!
First of all, before I started this run, I was convinced that workers in this campaign can turn into militia. I was wrong. So this is going to be quite an adventure since we're going to be using budget peasants. As you probably know, the way this mission works is that 2 undead players attack the top and bottom 2 bases, and when they are done, the second phase of the mission triggers and the enemy suddenly has 5 bases now. And this turns into one of the hardest missions in the game. However, if you watched my no production video, you saw that there is actually a way around this. In that video, I killed the attackers and surrounded the last meat wagon with workers, where it couldn't move anymore, so we stayed in phase 1 forever. Unfortunately, my workers are too weak to fight this army alone, but there is another thing I can do. In my island base in the middle of the map, there is a castle. And if I tell one of my workers to attack that castle and one of them to repair it, the AI will still think phase 1 is active, even if all my bases around are destroyed. And now we can stay in phase 1 forever. And now I had the time to build some towers next to the last 2 gold mines. And then I baited the defenders there to attack my towers. The enemy doesn't rebuild them, so I'm free to take the gold mines now, giving me a bunch of money. Unlike my no production video, where the green base does almost nothing, In this instance, they often launched airwaves after my base in the middle, so I had to have a bunch of towers there to defend. Thankfully, they don't attack anything else, so I was able to once again build a bunch of towers next to the second 2 gold mines and bait their defenders, giving me officially 4 gold mines to produce now. And boy was I going to need them. As we've learned in my no production video, the green base has certain units that they rebuild, like Crypt Fiends, Gargoyles, Abominations, Frostworms, and their Dreadlord hero. And certain units that they don't, like Ghouls, Meat Wagons, Destroyers, and Doomguards. So I made a bunch of towers next to the entrance, and I made sure I killed every one of their defenders, including the units that don't get rebuilt. The last Meat Wagons took a bit of time to hunt down, but they were killed as well. After that, I made a couple of cannon towers close to the enemy ziggurats, and with their huge range and siege damage, I was able to obliterate them in seconds. And I did the same with the north side of the base sometime after. So I made a bunch of towers and I killed their defenders, and then I used the cannon towers to take out the ziggurats. My cannons and units didn't have high ground vision though, but a big shout out to the big brain guy in my stream who suggested I use the attack ground function on the cannon tower to attack the terrain the ziggurats happened to be placed on. And with the towers gone, it was time to start dismantling the enemy production. Once any building dies, it dies permanently, so I decided to start attacking the buildings on the right side of the base. The problem is that the right side of the base houses a bunch of gnolls. And these guys are really mad that I pulled a fast one on their president last mission, so they really want to take revenge on me. So I lost a couple of workers because of them. But then I made a bunch of towers on the edge of the cliff, and I baited these buggers into it, after which they all died. And now the whole gnoll population on this island is extinct. And after that, I was able to start building towers in their camp. I made a couple of cannon towers and I started attacking the enemy boneyard. A defense wave was trying to stop me, but I was fast enough to take it down before that. This means that there are no more frostworms. The frostworms, however, weren't the most annoying flying unit on this mission. That honor goes to the gargoyle. The enemy has 2 crypts, and there isn't really a way to deal with those in a clean way, so I decided to throw my gloves away. I had a bunch of cash, so I made 100 workers and I started attacking the enemy base. During my attack, I built a bunch of towers, and the great thing about my workers is that they can build a tower together in seconds. Then I just needed to repair it and survive a bit until the tower is upgraded. And now I had a way of dealing with enemy defenders. Then I built a bunch of cannon towers and I started attacking their production buildings. And in the end their town hall as well. And soon after that, it all fell. And yeah, turns out the most tried and true method in RTS games actually works. Throwing money at the problem until it disappears. I think this would also work in real life, but I don't have any money to prove it.
Wave after wave, wave after wave.
And now we have arrived at my most hated mission in the entire game. The Tower Defense mission. Now, out of all things Reforged did or didn't do, for some reason they have decided that this mission in particular needed a hefty increase in difficulty. And I'll be honest here, there is absolutely no way this level can be beaten on hard difficulty without heroes. Just no way. They not only need to help clear the waves, but they also need to collect the gold coins that are dropped by the incoming waves. So yeah, I can definitely say that this level is impossible to beat with only workers. And I'll also be honest, I could have tried a bit harder and made it past a couple more levels with some better tower placements, but that still wouldn't have been nearly enough. And the most important reason why I didn't do this is because I simply didn't find this mission fun. I don't find it fun when I can play it with heroes, and I sure don't find it fun when I have to play it without them. But it is important to note that this is an optional mission, so we gave it our best and we failed. Narratively, what happened here is that all these soldiers that were supposed to evacuate into the portal simply failed to evacuate. But guess what? Joke's on them, because I wasn't going to use them anyway. I don't need any soldiers. All I need are workers, and they are already cozy on the other side of the portal waiting for the next assignment. But trust me on this, all the shortcuts I have taken on this mission and all the bad karma I have accumulated is going to be paid for tenfold in the next mission.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Before I started this run, I thought this level is going to be a trivial little adventure. But turns out I ended up spending the next 5 hours doing only this mission. The goal of this mission is to defend Illidan while he closes 4 demon gates. The level starts with Illidan getting attacked by a bunch of demons and all my known worker units abandoning their posts, leaving him to certain death. When Illidan dies quickly though, the enemy demons actually return back to their portal, which is great because that gave me enough time to revive Illidan and surround him with towers. For the time being, my main concern was which towers I should surround Illidan with. I have access to both Blood Elves and Naga on this mission, and both of them have powerful towers. Both towers deal about the same damage, so that part is okay. The Naga tower might cost a bit more and have a bit less health, but it has fortified armor, which makes it take a lot less damage from basically anything, unlike the Alliance one, which only has heavy armor. So I built a bunch of them. But then a guy in my stream pointed out that it doesn't really matter which armor my towers have, since every enemy on this level, including the regular attack waves which consist of fell orcs, deals chaos damage, which does equal damage to any armor type. Big shout out to that guy. So that means bye bye Naga towers. Then I surrounded Illidan by a bunch of towers, and there were so many that no enemy could really get to him. And the portal was closed. Then I started taking the expansion here, and I focused on base defense. Enemy attack waves here consist of a bunch of different compositions, but by far the worst one are the 2 nether dragons, which deal splash chaos damage. I'm gonna repeat this. Splash chaos damage. This reminds me of some other hour-long workers only mission I know. But okay, there is enough gold on the map to keep building defenses indefinitely. After all, every portal has a gold mine. Wait a second.
Job's done.
I thought you had gold mines here.
Upgrade complete. I'm on the job.
Holy, okay, we might have to reset. We might have to reset and live on a shoestring budget. Holy shit. This might be a 4-hour mission. Yeah, turns out only the first one does. And this is the reason why this mission turned from what I thought was going to be a trivial adventure to pure nightmare material. There was no way I was going to have enough money to cover every portal in towers. So there was only one thing I could do. Attack an enemy base and take their gold mine. A fell orc base where every unit deals chaos damage.
I'm in danger!
The orange base had the most gold and the least defenders, so that one was the easiest pick. Unfortunately, I went a bit overboard with my initial defenses, since I thought I'm gonna have infinite money on this level. So I had to restart the level first and immediately attack the orange base when the level started. The problem here is that the enemy has a bunch of strong defenders, the worst of which is the Orc Warlock. This guy does insane damage from huge range. Also, the enemy units are way too strong and I can't afford to waste money on going in with 100 workers and then get crushed. So I had to attack bit by bit using towers. The cannon tower has great range, so it can outrange the orc tower. Then I went in with a couple of workers where I painfully discovered that the enemy burrows deal chaos damage. The freaking orc burrows deal chaos damage.
Damn you.
Holy moly. And they deal a lot of it. So I had to use cannon towers to take these buggers out as well. Every tower needs a couple of guard towers next to it so they can take out the continuously incoming enemy defenders. Plus my repairing, of course. I decided to go through the right side of the base, so I had to go through another tower and another burrow. But after that I was able to take down one of the barracks. Then I made 2 towers next to their town hall and I was able to take it down, meaning no more chaos damage peons entering burrows. After that there were still a couple of buildings left, but I went closer and closer with my towers until I took them down. Words cannot describe how long all of this took. Out of 5 hours on this level, destroying this one base took 2, but eventually we did it. There were so many attempts and tries here that I don't even want to describe them. The last run might look smooth, but know that it's a product of 2 hours of suffering. And that was it. The money was now mine. Now I went to redo the first portal again, this time with a slightly tighter budget. So I've only built a handful of towers, and I built a bunch of buildings in the front to funnel the enemies towards me, and this ended up being an incredible decision, since this confused the AI quite a bit. Towards the end it got quite close, but somehow I managed to survive this. 1 down, 3 to go. Next I went to the portal to the right, where I built a bunch of towers around it. However, the towers can't be built everywhere. Turns out you can only build buildings on tiles that aren't black. Those tiles are called void tiles, by the way. However, there was this one guy on stream who told me that there is actually one building in the entire game that can be built on these tiles. The Naga Altar of the Depths. And honestly, I find this incredible, because he just told me this while we were talking about different kinds of terrain or something. And this one little fun fact actually turned out to be one of the most important things on this entire mission. Using this fact, I was able to surround the portal using the altars and funnel units towards my towers. This actually saved me a lot of time and money. Time and money that I didn't really have in the first place. This one also ended up being quite a close call, but in the end this portal was closed too. The next portal was in the lower right. This one was actually a bit easier than the previous one, but I didn't want to spend too much money there because I'm gonna need it for the final portal. So I used as little money as possible to barely be able to take that one out. And it really was barely. I was left with 300 health in the end. And now for the last portal. I mined everything out, and this 8,000 gold is all that I have. This might seem like a lot, but it's definitely not. Now, all these portals have initial defenders posted around them, but after building a couple of towers, the first worker that I used to bait these guys got evaporated. Oh my god. These guys just had enough of workers for one day. Poor Johnny. And now it was time for the SimCity building. I made a tower in basically every available crevice while using the altars to close off groups of towers from the open terrain. And now it was time for the defense segment. You know, things are critical when the first thing that pops out of the portal is an infernal. But there are also a bunch of flying pests there alongside other nightmare fueling stuff. I made sure to target these individual units manually so the damage isn't distributed and I take less damage overall. Yes, that's how desperate I was in this segment. And it took me several attempts, but somehow, someway, I managed to get lucky with my final one, and with a half-dead Illidan, I managed to do it. What an insane level. Wow. Honestly, doing this challenge run on stream was such a fun experience. It might have taken me 7 hours to do these 4 missions, but if it was just me, it would have taken me a lot longer, and I might not have been able to do it at all. So a huge thank you for everyone who was there. Also a huge thank you to everyone for watching. I know a lot of you are excited for the Scourge campaign, and honestly, that makes one of us. Because that one might be the most painful experience of my life. So I guess subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure you don't miss it, because suffering is coming. Until then, aim on, signing off.